Welcome to Video Pods. Are you ready? Let's buckle up and dive in.
Hey everyone! Ready to ditch the city noise for a bit? Let's take a deep dive into rural tourism today.
Sounds fantastic.
We've got this super interesting university slide deck all about rural and wilderness tourism.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, it's got me thinking differently about how I plan my vacations.
That's awesome.
You know, I'm picturing like wide open spaces, charming villages.
Yeah.
Maybe even trying my hand at some traditional craft.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a real shift happening in how people want to travel these days.
You think so?
Yeah. It seems like it's less about hitting all the tourist traps and more about getting those authentic experiences, you know?
Yeah.
Like imagine learning to bake bread in a wood-fired oven in Tuscany,
Oh, wow.
or helping harvest lavender in Provence.
Okay, stop. You're making me want to book a flight right now.
Uh-huh.
But before I do, let's break down what exactly makes rural tourism so special.
Right.
It's more than just visiting the countryside, right? Like, what makes it unique?
I think it's about really experiencing rural life, not just being an observer. Like you think about agro-tourism, staying on a farm, joining in on harvests, learning traditional crafts.
Oh, cool.
It's like full cultural immersion,
Yeah,
but with a side of fresh air and incredible scenery.
I like the sound of that. So this slide deck mentions that rural tourism is becoming super popular.
Yeah.
Is that just a passing trend, or is there something more driving it?
I think it's tapping into something much bigger.
Okay.
On one hand, you've got that constant, always connected city life.
Right.
People are getting burned out. And rural tourism offers a chance to unplug to escape that.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then there's this growing awareness of sustainability.
Right.
People wanting to travel in a way that supports local economies and that minimizes environmental impact.
Yeah.
Rural tourism can really hit those marks.
Okay, so it's not just about leaving the city.
Right.
It's about escaping that crazy city pace.
Exactly.
And honestly, I've been seeing tons of amazing rural destinations popping up all over my social media. Is that playing a role too?
Oh, absolutely. Social media and online platforms are huge for showcasing rural destinations.
Really?
Yeah, it's not just glossy travel magazines anymore.
Right.
It's real people sharing their real experiences, and that's powerful.
That makes sense. So we've got this craving for authenticity,
Yeah.
a desire to slow down, and this growing awareness of responsible travel.
Right.
And rural tourism seems to fit right in there.
Totally.
But what about the communities being visited?
Yeah.
Is it actually a win-win for them too?
It can be,
Okay.
but it definitely doesn't just happen automatically. If it's done right, rural tourism can bring economic diversification to communities,
Right.
especially ones that might depend too much on agriculture.
I see.
We're talking new jobs, local businesses thriving, and preserving cultural heritage.
Instead of it being forgotten.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just tourists dropping in for a photo op. It's
Yeah.
about them actually contributing to the local economy.
You got it. I was reading about this small village in Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
It was struggling economically until they started offering sheepdog herding demonstrations and wool spinning workshops.
Wow.
It got so popular that it totally revitalized the whole village.
Seriously?
Even young people started moving back to the area.
That's incredible. So it's about creating this sustainable ecosystem
Right.
where both the community and the travelers benefit.
Exactly.
This slide deck really pushes the idea of sustainable tourism. Why is that so important, especially for rural areas?
Well, because these beautiful places,
Right.
the very things that attract people to them,
Yeah.
they're fragile. We've seen what happens when tourism gets out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Environmental damage, cultural commodification, resentment from local communities.
That's no good.
It's not.
Yeah.
Sustainable rural tourism is about doing it the right way for the long term.
So how do you actually do rural tourism sustainably?
Right.
Like, give me some specifics, because I definitely don't want to be part of the problem.
Well, first and foremost, it's about involving the community.
Okay.
Locals need a say in how tourism develops.
Right.
What kind of experiences are offered and how the benefits are shared.
Because it's their home.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
their home.
Yeah.
Then you've got environmental protection.
Yeah.
Things like eco-friendly accommodations, waste management, responsible use of resources.
So it's not just about leaving a place the way you found it.
No.
It's about leaving it better.
You got it.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about cultural preservation.
Right.
It's about respecting local customs and traditions,
Yeah.
supporting local artisans, and learning about the history and heritage of a place.
Now, this slide deck also mentions wilderness tourism.
Yeah.
How does that relate to rural tourism? Are they totally separate things?
They're distinct,
Okay.
but they can definitely complement each other.
Mm.
I think of it this way. Rural tourism centers around people and their way of life,
Okay.
while wilderness tourism is more about the raw, untouched beauty of nature. But imagine incorporating elements of rural tourism into a wilderness experience.
Okay. Now I'm interested. Give me an example.
Let's say you're on a multi-day hike through some amazing mountain range.
Oh, wow.
Imagine your guide is also a local storyteller,
Okay.
sharing tales of the region's history and folklore as you trek.
That's cool.
Or picture staying in a cozy cabin run by a local family,
Uh-huh.
right at the edge of the wilderness,
Yeah.
getting a glimpse into their life alongside the breathtaking scenery.
That sounds amazing. It's like adding a whole other layer of meaning to the experience.
Right.
So you're not just observing the landscape.
Yeah.
You're understanding its history, its people, its stories.
Exactly. It creates a richer, more immersive experience for the traveler,
Right.
and it supports the local community.
And that's what sustainable tourism is all about, isn't it? Finding that balance where everyone benefits.
Totally.
I'm already hooked on this deep dive,
Oh, good.
and I can't wait to hear what else this slide deck has in store.
Yeah, me too.
I bet there's a lot more to uncover about the specifics of rural tourism, right?
You bet there is.
Yeah.
There's so many nuances, challenges, and opportunities we haven't even touched on yet.
Well, consider my curiosity officially piqued. Let's
Yeah.
dive into those next, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've talked about how awesome rural tourism can be when it's done right,
Right.
but I'm guessing it's not all smooth sailing.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that come up?
Well, for one, it's a real balancing act.
Okay.
You've got economic growth on one side,
Yeah.
and then preserving the very things that bring in visitors on the other.
Like what kinds of things?
The natural beauty,
Yeah.
the cultural heritage, that slower pace of life.
I can see how that would get tricky.
It is. It's so tempting to just build more hotels, pave more roads,
Yeah,
but that could end up destroying what makes a place special in the first place.
exactly. And it's easy to get caught up in those short-term gains
Oh, yeah.
and forget about long-term sustainability.
Totally. I'm thinking of this coastal community in Southeast Asia.
Oh, yeah.
They had this huge tourism boom, but it was poorly managed.
What happened?
They built way too many resorts way too quickly.
Oh.
The sewage system couldn't handle all the people.
Oh, no.
And the coral reefs that were a major attraction ended up getting damaged.
That's a bummer. So how do you avoid that kind of thing?
Right.
Is it just a matter of saying no to all development?
Not necessarily. It's more about smart development.
Okay.
Careful planning and getting the community involved every step of the way.
That makes sense.
Locals need to have a voice in deciding what kind of tourism they want
Right.
and how it's going to affect their lives.
It's their home after all.
Exactly. Their home, their livelihood, their culture is at stake.
And there's the whole infrastructure thing.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Rural areas often don't have the roads, the transportation, the accommodations,
Right.
all the things you need for a lot of visitors.
It's a tough one.
It's like you need the infrastructure to bring in tourists,
Yeah,
but you need the tourism money to build the infrastructure.
exactly. It's a chicken and egg situation.
Totally. And that's where those creative solutions come in.
Right.
Maybe community-run shuttle services
Yeah.
or eco-lodges built with local materials.
Oh, the idea.
This slide deck also mentions seasonality being a big challenge. I bet a lot of rural places have a busy season,
Oh yeah,
and then things get super quiet.
definitely. How do you deal with that?
That's a good question.
Relying on just one peak season can make a destination vulnerable.
How so?
It can lead to unstable jobs,
Uh-huh.
businesses struggling in the off-season,
Yeah.
and it puts a strain on resources.
So how do you fix that?
Diversifying what you offer is key.
Okay.
Maybe you promote shoulder season activities,
Like what?
bird watching in the spring or fall foliage tours,
That's cool.
or you develop year-round attractions like wellness retreats or cultural workshops.
So thinking outside the box
Yeah,
and creating experiences that appeal to different types of people.
exactly. And then, of course, there's the marketing hurdle.
Right. Rural destinations often don't have the resources to compete with the big guys,
It's true. How do you get your message out there?
especially with so much travel content out there these days.
It feels like you're always fighting for attention.
So how do you break through the noise?
Well, that's where partnerships and technology can be game changers.
Okay.
Teaming up with regional tourism boards,
Yeah.
travel agencies that specialize in sustainable travel, even influencers who are passionate about rural experiences.
It's about reaching a wider audience.
Exactly.
Right.
And social media is key.
Of course.
You've got to tell compelling stories,
Right.
showcase the authenticity of the experience.
Yeah.
Engage with potential visitors online.
It's not just about pretty pictures.
No,
It's about capturing the heart and soul of a place.
You got it. And never underestimate the power of word of mouth.
Oh, yeah. People trust recommendations from friends and family more than anything.
For sure. Encourage visitors to share their experiences.
Okay.
Become ambassadors for the destination.
I like that. And remember, you don't need to attract everyone.
Right.
Just the right kind of traveler.
Exactly. The ones who value authenticity, sustainability, and meaningful experiences.
It's about quality over quantity.
Definitely.
Connecting with travelers who appreciate and respect the destination.
Precisely. It's not about mass tourism.
Right.
It's about conscious tourism.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, but what about the good stuff?
The opportunities.
Yeah, what are some of the biggest opportunities that rural tourism offers?
Well, on the economic front, we've already talked about diversification.
Right.
Rural tourism can bring in new sources of income,
Okay,
and that helps communities rely less on things like agriculture.
makes sense.
It creates new jobs,
Yeah.
and not just in hospitality.
Oh, really?
You've got transportation, food production crafts.
Wow.
And these are often jobs that encourage young people to stay in the community.
Instead of leaving.
Yeah, it prevents brain drain
Yeah.
and helps build a more vibrant future.
It's amazing how tourism can have such a big impact.
It is. It revitalizes the economy and the whole community.
And it goes beyond just the money, right?
Oh, definitely. Rural tourism can help preserve cultural heritage.
Like how?
Think about traditional crafts,
Yeah.
local cuisines, storytelling music festivals.
Things that might be fading away.
Exactly. Tourism can breathe new life into them,
That's cool.
create a sense of pride, and pass them on to the next generation.
Like tourism is giving these traditions a stage to shine.
Exactly. And then there's the environment.
Great.
If it's done right, rural tourism can be a powerful force for conservation.
Really?
If a community depends on the environment for their livelihood,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be invested in protecting it.
I see.
Tourism can provide the resources and motivation to implement sustainable practices,
Okay.
conserve biodiversity, and preserve those beautiful landscapes.
So tourism and conservation work together.
Precisely. It's a win-win.
Oh, wow.
And from the traveler's perspective, rural tourism offers this chance to connect with something real.
Like authentic experiences.
Yes, it's about slowing down, escaping the noise, experiencing a different pace of life,
Yeah.
meeting people who are passionate about their land, their culture, their way of life.
I love that. It sounds like it's about rediscovering a sense of connection
Yes.
with nature and with other people,
Exactly. It's about experiences that nourish the soul.
not just the Instagram feed.
Exactly. This is all so inspiring.
It is.
But is it all just a utopian ideal?
Right.
Is this actually working anywhere?
Are there real examples of rural tourism succeeding?
Oh, absolutely. There are tons of communities around the world who are doing it right.
Right.
They're proving that sustainable rural tourism isn't just a dream, it's a reality.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. Tell me about those success stories.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so let's hear about those real-world success stories.
All right, so one that comes to mind is this network of small villages in the Italian Alps.
Oh, wow, in the Alps.
Yeah, they're dealing with people moving away and the economy was declining.
That's tough.
Yeah, then they decided to use their amazing mountain landscapes and their tradition of cheesemaking to their advantage.
He's making you have my attention.
So they created these interconnected hiking trails
Cool.
that wind through the villages with incredible views of the mountains and valleys.
Oh, wow.
And along the trails, they set up these small family-run guest houses
Nice.
where hikers can stay times, eat home-cooked meals with local ingredients, and even take cheese-making workshops.
So it's like a food adventure built right into the hike.
Exactly. And it attracts a certain type of traveler,
Yeah, people who like to take their time and really experience the local culture.
Totally. They want to connect with the land,
Sure.
the people, the
Yeah.
traditions.
They worked.
It totally transformed the villages,
Wow.
brought back jobs, revitalized the local economy, and gave them a sense of pride in their heritage.
That's amazing. It really shows how powerful a good tourism strategy can be.
It really does. All right, let's jump to a totally different scene.
Okay.
This rural community in the American Southwest.
Oh, yeah, I've seen pictures of that area.
It's gorgeous, right?
Stunning, but it looks pretty harsh, too.
Yeah, it's known for its desert scenery, but they were dealing with drought and not a lot of economic opportunities.
So how did they turn that into a tourism draw?
Well, they teamed up with a conservation organization to create these eco-friendly campsites and glamping sites that blend right into the environment.
That's cool.
And they partnered with local indigenous communities
Nice.
to offer guided tours that focus on the region's natural and cultural history.
What kind of things do they show?
Ancient rock art, medicinal plants, traditional storytelling.
Wow. So they're showcasing the unique things about the area while also being mindful of the environment.
Exactly. And it's not just about tourists observing.
Right.
They learn about desert stewardship, participate in conservation efforts, and even contribute to research projects.
That's really cool. It's a great example of how tourism can be good for the economy and the environment.
It is. These stories are so inspiring.
They are. It shows that if you're creative, get the community involved and commit to sustainability, rural tourism can really work.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm sure some people listening are thinking, okay, this sounds great.
Yeah.
But how can I actually make a difference? How can I be a responsible tourist?
It's a good question. What advice would you give?
Well, it starts with thinking about the impact you have.
Okay.
Do some research before you go.
Like what kind of research?
Look for destinations and tour operators that are committed to sustainability.
Got it.
Read reviews, ask questions, make sure your values align with theirs.
So be an informed traveler.
Yes. And think about the kind of experience you want.
Okay.
Do you want to support local businesses?
Yeah.
Stay in eco-friendly places. Really engage with the local community.
Right.
Once you know what's important to you, you can make choices that reflect that.
It's like putting your money where your mouth is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Supporting the kind of tourism you want to see.
What other tips do you have?
Be respectful of the local culture and customs. Dress appropriately. Learn a few phrases in the local language. Ask before taking photos.
Right. Be mindful of your behavior.
You're a guest in their home.
What about the environmental impact of traveling?
Well, choose eco-friendly transportation when you can.
Okay.
Like taking the train or bus instead of flying.
Yeah.
Walk, bike, or use public transport once you're there.
Makes sense.
Stay in places that prioritize sustainability, conserve water and energy, and dispose of waste properly.
It's all those little things that add up.
They really do. And don't be afraid to go off the beaten path.
I like that.
Explore those hidden gems that haven't been overrun by tourists.
You'll probably have a more authentic experience.
Exactly. It's about being adventurous, but doing it in a way that respects the places you visit.
I love that. So responsible rural tourism is an ongoing thing.
It is. It's about constantly learning and adapting.
And making good choices.
Exactly. Choices that benefit you and the communities you visit.
This deep dive has really changed how I think about travel.
That's great to hear.
It's not just about checking things off a list anymore.
Right.
It's about connecting with the world in a deeper, more sustainable way.
I couldn't agree more. And maybe this conversation will inspire some listeners to go on their own rural adventures,
I hope so.
discover those hidden gems, and make a positive impact.
It's been an awesome journey, and I can't wait to put what I've learned into
Me
practice.
too.
So to everyone listening, we encourage you to get out there, explore the world with open hearts and open minds,
Yeah.
experience the beauty of rural landscapes, immerse yourselves in different cultures,
Have fun.
and remember, the best experiences often come from venturing off the beaten path. Safe travels,